What is behind the castle?
Behind the castle.
When one of my stream viewers suggested I check out the new horror-themed Mario 64 ROM hack, I was immediately interested, but also skeptical. Mario horror just seemed very cheesy, like very Sonic.exe. I figured it would be Mario, but with some spooky stuff and disturbing imagery, but how much could you really do in a ROM hack? Little did I know, I was about to experience what is perhaps the most f***ed up game I've ever played. The game begins the same way that Mario 64 always does. Lakitu shows up, Mario jumps out of the pipe, and you enter the castle. As far as I could tell, nothing was different. I entered Bob-omb Battlefield and went to collect the Chain Chomp Star, since it's really fast and easy.
It's me, Mario! Hello!
I've been here before. Why am I doing this again? Has it always been like this?
Not always. Sometimes you get to like drive go-karts and play tennis.
It's me, Mario!
Upon returning to the game, I decided to leave Bob-omb Battlefield because all the other stars there take too long. I was getting used to Mario 64's controls again after all these years, and feeling confident, I went to Whomp's Fortress, which has much faster stars. It was at this point that I noticed that the game's camera felt weird. The camera in Mario 64 is terrible, and it behaves differently in different areas. For example, in Whomp's Fortress, the camera will shove itself to point inward at the level. In fact, if you try to adjust the camera to look out into the skybox, the game won't let you. I always found that strange, like there was something out there that the game didn't want you to see.
It's me, Mario! Hello!
My parents got me Mario 64 less than a month after it first came out in the West. And while I was mystified by this new 3D world that was unlike anything I had experienced on the Super Nintendo, something else immediately caught my attention. This lake. You see, most of Mario 64's levels are either floating in a void like Whomp's Fortress, or they're walled like Bob-omb Battlefield. These walled levels have large slopes and barriers at the edges of the map, and as mentioned before, the camera is coded to avoid pointing in directions that would let you see over these barriers. Of course, the game didn't do a great job of this, and it was often really easy to walk right up to the edge of these maps and see what was out there. Which was nothing. An endless blue void. As a kid, I found this really unsettling. Outside of Peach's castle where the game starts, there's a lake in the corner, and you can just swim right up to the edge of the map. It's just a corner, an invisible wall. Once I realized this, I never went anywhere near that lake. It terrified me. Later in the game, there's an area in the sky, and if you fall off, you come crashing down into that same pond. When this first happened to me as a kid, I got so scared that I was near the edge of the world that I ran up to the N64 and shut it off. I also did that during the opening cutscene of Banjo-Kazooie because Gruntilda's face scared me. Gruntilda, the Haunted Mask, Chucky, dude, I was like afraid of everything as a kid. It's kind of ironic that I tell scary stories on the internet now. I would later come to learn that this was a manifestation of an irrational fear that I've had for my entire life. A purophobia. The fear of infinity. I think that's how you pronounce it. This wasn't just limited to Mario either. Any game that had a seemingly infinite space, floor to horizon, caused me to have anxiety attacks. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 3 with my friends, and we decided to try and find the Ghost Town, a rumored fourth island that could only be accessed by plane. It turns out the Ghost Town did actually exist, but it was never meant to be accessed by players. It was just scenery used for the game's opening cutscene, so Rockstar just threw it off in the ocean somewhere where nobody would find it. Except, we did find it. The ghost town itself was creepy. It barely had any collision, and the geometry is heavily culled since the area was only ever meant to be used in a cutscene. However, accessing the ghost town was even creepier. You had to fly the small prop plane into the void surrounding the map. Furthermore, GTA 3 was a PS2 game, so there were lots of strange artifacts and glitches. Randomly, chunks of ocean would just disappear. Furthermore, while the space appeared infinite, it wasn't. You could clearly see a corner in the distance. Furthermore, the ghost town itself wasn't actually that far away. It was just in a weird spot that nobody would ever really go, and it was coded to only draw itself in when you got very close. So you'd just be flying through the void and then suddenly, this thing would appear. And then the game went nuts. The ocean would just disappear. The rendering would break, and weirdest of all, the plane would become entirely uncontrollable, eventually crashing into the water. Everything about this area screams that you're not supposed to be here. This traumatized me as a kid. Even watching this footage now sort of unsettles me. The thought of an infinite expanse at the edge of a game world scared me, but the thought that there could be something out there was even scarier. Something where there should be nothing. After collecting a few more stars, I decided to head to the snow level, mostly because the slide is fun. Where'd all my freaking stars go? Dude, this is like my nightmares. Yeah, I hate infinite expanses. It's like a phobia of mine. Just the way that it just like ends and then there's nothing. I really don't like that. Yeah, like I really don't like that corner. Like you can see his shadow clips up against the wall. Like you can see right where like the fake wall is.
It's me, Mario! Hello!
What makes the edges of a game world so weird is that things stop behaving normally. The best recent example of this are the Farlands from Minecraft. In earlier versions of the game, the maps weren't really infinite. I mean, they were, but once you reached a point far enough away from the origin, the game just broke. World generation went nuts. Rendering went nuts. Calculations went nuts. You'd have water within water within water. Grids of blocks arranged perfectly as far as you could see. It was really weird. And worst of all, there were corners. Reaching the Farlands through normal Minecraft gameplay was literally impossible. They were so far away from the world origin, you basically had to teleport. But even then, once you knew about the Farlands, walking around a Minecraft world in those versions of the game felt strange. Knowing that past the horizon, an impossibly far distance away, there was this non-Euclidean space that broke the rules of the game. The Farlands were never designed. They're just a side effect of players traveling further than any of the devs imagined that they ever would. These are an accident. They're the product of positional calculations failing due to the massive numbers at play. It's actually pretty backroomsy, and it makes you wonder, what else could the game do all on its own, far away in the empty void outside the map where no player will ever see? I continued to grab the easiest stars I could, claiming several from the slides. Afterward, I returned to Bob-omb Battlefield and started to retrieve the rest of the stars when the game once again got weird. That's how I feel about it. I guess we did it! Being the first 3D entry in the Mario series, people played the crap out of Mario 64, and once all the game's secrets had been uncovered, people started to just make shit up. On the first floor of the castle is this weird courtyard area with a fountain in the center. Once you have 12 stars, a bunch of ghosts appear, granting you access to Big Boo's haunt. However, in the fountain in the center of the area, there's a statue of a star with hard to decipher text below it. Curiously, this is another one of the few rooms in the game that sort of hijacks your camera. No matter how you try to move and rotate it, it always pans back to the star statue. A force literally pulls the camera towards this thing. It feels important. There were two popular interpretations of this text. The first was that it read Eternal Star, which isn't very mysterious and would sort of be underwhelming considering the reverence this game seems to ascribe to the statue, but the second interpretation was far more controversial. Some believed that the plaque read L is real 2401. This doesn't really make any sense, especially considering that the alternative is that it's a statue of a star that says Eternal Star, but Mario fans decided that L is real 2401 was a reference to Luigi's suspicious absence from the game, and that it was a sign that there was a way to access or play as him. Of course, in reality, it's just a muddy N64 texture, and it probably just said Eternal Star, but that's not as interesting a mystery, and people latched on to the L is real interpretation. The funniest was watching people bend over backward trying to explain what 2401 2401 meant. Like, I remember people saying that 2401 was the date that Paper Mario came out and that Paper Mario had Luigi in it, thus fulfilling the prophecy or whatever, but it's a lie. Paper Mario came out in Japan on August 11th, 2000. The North American release date was February 5th, 2001, which is close to 2401, but it's not the same date. Also, how would Nintendo know the North American release date of Paper Mario, a game that wouldn't come out for years? It makes no sense. Yeah, you see the way that the game just like pulls the camera? Like I'm moving the camera back and it's just like it pulls it towards the star every time. You can't like... Of course we thought this was important.
Uncovering the
There was no secret. No secret.
At this point, I had collected enough stars to challenge Bowser, so I headed over to tackle the game's first boss. I heard you, Goomba.
Always fade out in a montage. If you fade out, it seems like more time has passed in a montage.
Hello, you absolute legends. It's over. Super Mario 64 is officially dead.
With the key in hand, we head to the basement where more stars await. Of course, we didn't get far before the game got very strange yet again.
Don't. This is still the same bar, floating in an endless void.
Floating in an endless void of
Nothing.
Oh, dude, not this again. Dude, I hate this. Where are my freaking stars? So there was a Halo 2 multiplayer level called Burial Mounds, and you could do this glitch where like you rammed a wraith into somebody who had an overshield into this one specific pillar, and it would like clip their body out of bounds and like, I guess, into the 3D skyboxers. I don't know exactly what would happen, why it happened, but their corpse and like their gun and their grenades would become gigantic and massive and like floating above the map. And my friends and I did this glitch one night, and I was literally sitting in a room with like all my friends, like midnight on a Friday night chilling, like, and as this was happening, I was like, I started to have a freaking panic attack. Like something about that just rubbed me the wrong way. Okay.
It's me, Mario. Hello.
Oh shit, is my webcam off? One of the things that makes the void so unsettling is that you lose all depth perception. A great example of this is the Four Kings fight from Dark Souls. The battle takes place in the aptly named Abyss, a massive, endless black void. This alone was already super unsettling to me, but the actual boss fight only makes it weirder. The Four Kings sort of just appear from the darkness, but because there's no background or objects to give you a frame of reference, you really can't tell how far you are from them, or how big they are. So you run towards them, and only once you get close enough do you realize that they're massive. These guys are like 4 times the size of you. Furthermore, their legs extend below the invisible floor that you walk on, and nobody casts any shadows anywhere, which is very spatially weird. Even when you're right up next to them and dealing damage, it doesn't really feel like your weapon is making contact. Worst of all, after defeating this boss, the area remains an empty black void, and if you return there, you encounter this. Ironically, if you light up the abyss to see what's actually there, it's somehow even worse. I'm not even sure this is the fear of infinity anymore, but whatever this is freaks me out. After the bizarre scene in Lethal Lava Land, the game reset once again, but now my save file had all 120 stars. The game was completed. Without any real goal, I just sort of wandered around, looking for more spooky things. After that cutscene, I figured maybe Lethal Lava Land held some secret, but it didn't. It was just the normal level. I figured maybe there'd be something in Big Boo's haunt, or maybe the second Bowser level, but there was nothing. Why did I do that, Star? I don't know, dude. It's a freaking ghost. It's scary. I don't know. I thought maybe something would happen. I was starting to think that maybe I'd seen it all. Maybe the game rewarding me with 120 stars was its way of saying, hey, you beat it. That's all. There's no more spooky stuff. However, without even realizing it, there was a room I had been avoiding. The mirror room. This room freaked me out as a kid because it's the only mirror in the game, and it's the only time that you can see Lakitu behind you, holding the camera. Something about the idea that there was this thing constantly following behind Mario that you could never see was just very unsettling to me. Oh, dude, I hated this room as a kid.
me, Mario. Hello.
Knowing that there were more secrets hidden within the game, I went back in and searched high and low, but I couldn't find anything else. It was sort of frustrating to know that I might be wasting my time searching for a secret that wasn't there, but at the same time, everything felt so inconclusive. It seems like somehow Mario started to remember prior playthroughs of the game, which eventually allowed him to become cognizant of the nature of his reality. He began to recognize that he was always stuck in the same box, that all the levels were just artificial facades floating in an endless void of nothing, that his entire existence was an endless loop doing the same fake things in the same fake world over and over again. However, at that moment, someone in my stream chat made a wise suggestion. What if the game had given us 120 stars not to signify that it was over, but because we needed 120 stars to progress? Maybe the game gives you 120 stars because you have to go to the roof? That's not a bad idea. There was only one thing that changed about Mario 64 upon collecting all of the stars. The cannon near the aforementioned terrifying lake opens up, enabling Mario to blast to the castle roof. Yeah, we may as well just try blasting to the roof, why not? Throughout the entire game, Nintendo did a rather decent job at disguising the boundaries of the levels, nudging the camera and even sometimes the player away from them. Maintaining that illusion was obviously important to Nintendo. However, once we reach the castle's roof, all of that goes out the window. Mario can walk right up to the edge of the world and see what's out there. The game doesn't even try to hide it. In fact, this whole segment is a sort of unsettling fourth wall break. Yoshi appears and gives you a message from the Mario 64 dev team before granting 100 one-ups. They thank us for playing the game, essentially acknowledging that that's all that there is, and having made it clear that this is indeed just a video game, they're no longer concerned with maintaining the illusion of the world. They allow us to walk right up to the edge and see what's out there, to see what's behind the castle. And there's nothing.
Behind the castle. Nothing.
There is nothing behind the
Castle.
At least.
That's what I
What I thought.
The abyss.
There was frightened.
The thought
The thought
something was out there.
something was out there.
Was unsettling.
Unsettling.
However,
They thought that
nothing was out there was even more disturbing. So I said forth
into the nothing. Maybe there
would be something. Maybe there would be nothing.
more presents.
Infinite prisons. Parallel
universes.
And
They
they
are
are all exactly the same.
exactly the same.
There is no escape.
Escape.
Is
Is this
this hell?